Size super simple recipes number 30. Beef in red wine. Now, this is one of Gail and my favourite recipes. There are a number of reasons for this, but one is if you've got a slow cooker and you can slice up some onions, you cannot fuck this up. It's awesome. So, I've got the last half of my father-in-law's onions and another small onion. I've got some beef, tin of oxtail soup. We're going to use half a tin of Italian chopped tomatoes, half a tin of baby carrots, and I'm using a Spanish soft red wine, but any full-bodied red will do. Use whichever one you prefer. So all I've got to do to get started with this is to slice these onions up and basically cut the beef into a dice. So I'll come back as soon as that's done and we'll start putting it all together. But honestly, it's so simple, you cannot fail. Okay, so I've prepped my beef, prepped my onions. This really is the simplest ever. Start with the whole tin of oxtail soup goes in. Now, if you're not a big lover of oxtail soup, trust me on this one, because you won't actually be tasting much of the oxtail, but it's the basis for a really nice gravy. You want about half a tin, maybe, or a bit less, a bit more, tidy up to with your baby carrots. About half a tin of your chopped Italian tomatoes, plenty. And give it a decent glug of red wine. A glass would probably do it. Oh, that smells good already. Pop your beef in. Pop your sliced onions in. I like to try and break these up a little bit, but they'll break up during the cooking. Anyway, really good pinch of salt. Bit of black pepper. Give that a good old stir around so that all the ingredients are just under the liquid, if you see what I mean, so that it doesn't burn or stick. And that, put on your slow cooker for 6 to 8 hours. What you're looking for is the onions to almost have dissolved and the meat to be so tender you could cut it with 2 spoons. Couldn't be simpler. It makes a really good dinner party dish, and I'm going to actually try and serve it in a giant Yorkshire pudding. So we'll give that 6 to 8 hours and then we'll come back and see what we've got. Under normal circumstances, I'm so lazy that I would go and buy some of those frozen giant Yorkshire puddings, the 8-inch ones, or use one of these things which you just basically add water to, but all that's in there is some flour, milk powder and some salt. So I thought, since it's only me and I don't need the amounts they're talking about, we'll make one ourselves. So, plain flour. We want 4 dessert spoons of that, because again I'm not great with measures. And normally they would say sieve the flour, like I care. Right, good pinch of salt in there. Meanwhile, I've got an egg. I'm only doing this as a 1 egg. Normally the smaller mixes are 2. To be honest, I think I'll get away with just having the 1. And into that, you want 8 of milk. I've got cracked an egg, and I've got, this would be 8 dessert spoons of milk. If it turns out that the batter's too thick, instead of using more milk, I'll just add a bit of water, to be honest. So, beat that all together. Whoops. Not clever sight. Excuse my clumsiness. And then we're going to slowly add that to our flour and salt mix. As I say, if it turns out that in the end the batter is too thick, we can just add some water to it. A little bit of time. Obviously you don't want lumps in it if you can avoid it. Which means a bit of elbow grease because we didn't sieve it, but I'm not so bothered as to worry about it. Now obviously I'm trying to make a giant Yorkshire to serve this beef and red wine in, so the key to it is going to be, will it rise or not? And then we're going to chuck that in the fridge for about an hour or so. Or until the slow cooker's finished. I think there'll be enough there for what I want to do. That's roughly the right consistency. Just wipe up that last drop of milk I've managed to spill there. Like I say, so I find it easier if you don't have to weigh things out, and this should work perfectly well. I have used this recipe before, and I don't go in for those little poxy individual bloody things. So we'll pop that in the fridge now, leave that until we're ready to make up our Yorkshire, which will be once all the slow cooker's finished. Yorkshire pudding batter. Our beef and red wine in the slow cooker is virtually done now, so I'm going to prep the dish to cook the Yorkshire in. The trick with this is to get the fat smoking hot, I mean hot as you can. So you can use sunflower oil, but in this case I'm just using lard, and I'm going to just grease the sides as well, because this is quite a deep pan and I want to hopefully get the whole thing out in one piece. Famous last words. So give that a good old grease up. There's plenty of lard in there. We'll pop that in the oven. It's on a really high heat, as high as it'll go. And once that's smoking hot, we should be able to come back and get our Yorkshire on. So I'll come back once that's all heated right up. Right, our fat is now at the smoking hot stage. I'm going to show it the respect of wearing the full gloves. Like I say, give it some respect. Don't actually be afraid of it. And I'm telling you now, this is going to spit and complain. But again, you want to try and be confident. Simple, quick pour. Straight back in the oven. And that's going to take about 20 minutes. If after about 10 minutes you find that it's risen a lot more than you thought and it looks like the top's going to burn, you can turn the temperature back down to about 180 to cook the base out. But we'll give it 20 minutes and we'll see what we've got. It's now been in for just under 20 minutes. Time to see if I've burnt it to a crisp, I think. Let's have a little look. No, not too blackened, but the question is, oh no, it's cooked all the way through. So then the next question will be, can I actually get it out of the dish? So I'll put this on a plate and I'll come back in 2 seconds. I needn't have worried, it's lifted straight out. So time to dish up. Size super simple, beef in red wine served in a giant Yorkshire pudding. Job done.